But does randomness actually save free will? And many people have chatted about this, okay? My claim is that actually this question about determinism and randomness, which goes in philosophy under compatibilism and incompatibilism, really doesn't have much to do with free will. What is free will? Or rather, not free will in general, sorry. This sensation, our inability to predict our own actions and our own decisions. Let me just talk about that. Where does that come from? Well, I mean, as was pointed out by Marcelo, that you know, now we've got these neuroscientists, poke around in our brain, know what we're going to decide like a few minutes or a few seconds before we do it. So they go walk around saying, hey, we don't have free will. Actually, Stephen Hawking says this as well in one of his books. I have a good Hawking quote about this. Completely wrong. Here's a poor brain. I mean, come on, a poor brain, all right? So why is this not true? I claim that the origins of our inability to predict ourselves lie in the halting problem. Here is a Turing machine. The Turing machine is simulating itself, simulating itself, simulating itself all the way down the line, like, and you know, what the heck is that? So, the halting problem, what is the halting problem? If we have a Turing machine and it starts to ask itself questions, it says, will I ever be able to answer the question of whether I'll be able to answer the question, I wonder what the answer is. And I claim, and I will give some strong evidence, and in fact some mathematical theorems. I will not show you the theorems, but basically this result gives a mathematical theorem that proves that shows that this is the basis for our inability to decide what's going on. So in fact, if you have finite resources, so Turing halting problems comes from having infinite resources. Let's look at finite resources. Here's a rather attractive, I believe, woman contemplating modeling herself, thinking about herself, thinking about what she's going to do, and you see, just to be able to draw this in 2 dimensions, I had to make the things in the thought bubbles less detailed than the woman herself. And that's because if you try to model yourself, your models will be less detailed than you are yourself. And there's a very nice set of theorems from computer science that capture this beautifully that says that simulating yourself is either slower, less detailed, chancier, or all of the above than actually being yourself. And the nice computer science version of this is called the Hartmann-Stearns theorem, a beautiful, Scott will tell you, beautiful theorem from computer science from 1961 or sometime like that, which says that to predict with certainty what you will decide to do an hour from now takes more than an hour. It takes more computational resources because asking the question yourself, gee, what am I going to be doing in an hour is like a lot slower than just doing it, okay? So, and this is true, okay? So sometimes any system that can actually contemplate, ask itself the question, what am I going to do in an hour, often won't be able to answer that. This is true whether the universe is deterministic or probabilistic, irregular, chaotic, classical, quantum mechanical. These are my like kind of Keith Haring-like pictures of a quantum thing with like little. And so I'd like to propose, and by the way, this is I have a paper on this published in the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society, where all the theorems and everything are presented in gory detail. It's called A Turing Test for Free Will. You'll find it on the archive. There was a good /dot conversation about this a month ago. A Turing Test for Free Will. So let's like ask these questions. This is a self-administered test, right? Because like unlike the real Turing test, you know, you should give it to yourself because if you cheat, you have only yourself to blame. Who are you hurting? Just you yourself, okay? Are you a decider? So are you making a decision? Can you model your behavior and maybe that of other things around you? And then the last one is, can I predict my own decisions? And that, of course, is a trick question because you won't be able to do this. If you answer the first 2 questions correctly, you cannot do the third. This is just a mathematical theorem about anything that is trying to predict itself. And let me give it as an example. George